If you feel like your project isn't moving forward, vertical planning might be the quick fix for you. In this format called Quick Fix, I share concepts that have helped me improve or speed up my work. This time I'll show you vertical planning, also known as natural planning, from Getting Things Done by David Allen. Vertical planning helps you move quickly from your project's big vision to the next actionable steps. It also helps you to spot potential issues earlier on, which makes the execution so much easier. The process consists of 5 steps. To make these 5 steps more tangible, I'll walk you through how I use them to plan my trip to Osaka. In the first step, you define the purpose and principles of your project. For my trip, it looks like this. I wrote a sentence that roughly outlines what I want to achieve with the trip, and then I defined 3 core principles. Each of these principles is just a headline with a more detailed description. These core principles will be the cornerstone of your whole project. They help you keeping your actions aligned with your actual goals. And fun fact, this concept also exists in game design, where it's called a design pillar. These principles are essentially the whole foundation your project is built on. Now that you know the purpose of your project and the principles you want to follow, the next question is, what exactly do you want to achieve? That's where outcome visioning comes in. In my experience, this part can consist of 2 things: a short description of your end goal and a list of specific outcomes you want to achieve. For my trip to Japan, I didn't have concrete goals, so I just wrote this brief description. That is, I want to experience a blend of culture and community in a way that only Japan can offer. At the same time, I want to keep up with my workouts, play tennis, and work on my social media posts. Short and simple, and very vague. But if you already know exactly how something should work, it's worth writing out specific items. I did that, for example, when I was looking for a task management tool for my social media projects. The nice thing about this kind of list is that you can give it to a chatbot, which can then help you figure out if all these items are actually feasible. Like I said, not every project needs a list of requirements, but whether you skip that or not, you shouldn't skip the next step of the process: brainstorming. I like to use my iPad and Freeform for this, but you can use any other whiteboard app just as well. Or an actual whiteboard if you got one. On your whiteboard, just write the name of your project in big letters in the middle of the board, and then just write everything down that comes into your mind. Even if it's just, I have no idea, then write, I have no idea. Just keep going until you can't think of anything else related to the project. Now you've got a big pile of ideas around your project, but making sense of that pile, not easy. That's why we organize everything now, which is also the 4th step of the process. I've already sorted and organized all my thoughts here. That gives me a sense of what parts the project actually consists of. Now that I have all these ideas, or just bullet points, roaming around the project, I need to go to the next step, which is identifying the next actions. Usually these show up pretty naturally. You look at your goal and immediately think, oh yeah, I need to Google if that's even possible. Other times it's not that obvious. In that case, ask yourself this: what am I working on here? What's the very next action that brings me closer to this goal? And who's going to do that? Just answering that one question can bring you a lot of clarity and peace of mind. Depending on the size of your project, this process might take just a few minutes, but it can also take up to an hour or so. For example, my project planning for Japan took probably 1 to 2 hours, and it was very broad because this is a big trip for me, and I should answer most of the questions I got here before I travel to Japan. But no matter how long it takes you to go through the process, in the end you will have a clear picture of what you need to do to reach your vision. Try out vertical planning and let me know if it was a quick fix for you as well. Wishing you all the best in reaching your goals.